What's up to another weekly of my rants, results, and everything in between Thursday podcast on Ed Tide to listen to. So, first things first, Crown Jewel. I know it's been a couple days, but this actually day off, so usually Thursdays is my day off, so this is the only time I actually get to do this. So, that being said, let's run down the results of the Crown Jewel. Uh, right off the bat, I don't know if there was a pre show match. Uh, didn't bother because I was working. I work on Saturdays, and this was a morning, afternoon PPV, and so I just watched the main stuff. So anyway, Brock Lesnar beats Bobby Lashley. Not surprised, but a little surprised. I think I said I wanted Bobby to win, but thinking back, I believe Brock is undefeated at Crown Jewel. Um, no, yeah, I believe he is, as memory serves. Not sure, but still, that's a way. That's a weird way. Not a. I shouldn't say weird way, but an understanding way of how he won. But at the same time, show how dangerous Bobby is. So next up, Damage Control uh, wins the women's tag team from Bliss and Asuka with, with interference from Nikki Cross. Um, I said if they win, uh, not I wouldn't be surprised if they win. If they do, Bailey would win also. But oddly enough, Belair retains the title. So I don't know what that means with Bailey going forward. Does she go to SmackDown and get that title, or you know, um, future possibility she wins the Rumble and once again face Belair then, or whoever's holding the SmackDown, uh, you know, belt at that time. Uh, who knows? Next is Drew beating Karrion Cross. I said Drew would win. Put an end to this feud. Maybe we don't know. We'll find out tomorrow. Um, Next is Judgment Day versus the OC. Judgment Day wins. I believe. I'm pretty sure I said Judgment Day wins if the OC didn't find a female counterpart, or Edge and Beth didn't show up, which they didn't. So I figured, Judgment Day wins, and then come Monday we see Mia Yim come back. So wonder how that's gonna play out. We know next Monday probably we're gonna have Yim versus Rhea, and after that, mixed tag match. Um, maybe not for War Games. I'll get into that later. Next is Braun beats Omos. I can't remember who I said would win. I think I said Braun would win. Um, Omos pretty much had that in the bag until he finally got that run and power slam in. Um, the I'm looking at the times. The times itself was 7 minutes and 20 seconds, while Brock versus Bobby was 6 minutes. I mean, although what happened prior to the bell ringing, that was a little bit longer versus this one, Braun versus Omos. You know, like I said, it was right in the middle. Like I said, it's a this match was a good match for the to put in the middle of this pay per view. But anyway, Usos retaining from the Brawling Brutes. Very as expected, much because you kind of needed that Uso versus the New Day. I really don't know who is gonna win that Friday. Most likely it could be the Usos, um, or not. You never know. You never know what happens. And last but not least, Reigns versus Logan Paul. It was pretty obvious Roman was going to win, but that match was, uh, I hate to admit it, it was quite the banger. Yeah, I didn't really didn't expect Logan to do what he did during that whole entire match. Um, obviously, like you always get outside interference from Roman Reigns' matches. He kind of had his help from his brother uh, Jake. Um, you know, but still, you gotta love that buckshot lariat that Logan pulled off. If this was held in the states, I kind of wonder if the audience would have been chanting "cowboy shit." Uh, as I mean, I would have, but when I saw that, I'm like, "Holy shit! I can't believe he just pulled that off." Um, yeah, it was a good match. Now you got to wonder moving forward, who's on the list for Reigns. Um, Reigns probably won't have a match until the Rumble, which is in one, two, yeah, 2.5 months, unless for War Games. Um, you know, well, let's go on the female side of the War Games right now. So as of Monday, it's going to be Belair, Bliss, and Asuka versus Damage Control, Bailey, Dakota Kai, Io, and Nikki. Uh, and so they'll need one more person in, you know, one more person for that Survivor Series match. As far as Belair's side, um, there's speculation. I've seen speculation on Wrestle Talk saying this would be the time that Naomi and Sasha Banks will come back. Um, yes, that could happen, or it could be who am I thinking of? Um, on the SmackDown brand, Shotzi and Rodriguez. I mean, they've gone against Damage Control, so that kind of makes more sense than Naomi and Belair, or not Belair, Banks. But um, obviously, people would rather have them than Shotzi and excuse me, Rodriguez. But I can't really think of who would join Damage Control for War Games. I mean, if it's not, um, I mean, just thinking about all the females on you know, both Raw and SmackDown, uh, Rhea, maybe, but I'm pretty sure Rhea's going to be in some type of match during Survivor Series, against the OC or some mixed match. Uh, yeah, I can't really. Natalia, I mean, I she's not really. I'm not sure if she's a heel. I really don't know. Shayna Baszler, maybe. Um, yeah, I really don't know. I really don't know. But as far as the male side, the only thing that's even questionable, we'll find out during SmackDown or until Raw, until we know who's heading where, as far as storylines go. But I would like to see the Bloodline versus, you know, all of Roman and Usos, lost, you know, past opponents. Because right off the bat, I'm pretty sure Riddle's going to be in there. He has experience in the War Games. Um, who else? You know, because that'll be because let's see, it'll be Usos, Solo, and Sammy and Reigns. Because there's five right there versus who? Could be the Brawling Brutes with Ridge, Butch, Sheamus. I don't know when he's coming back with Riddle and Drew, maybe. Um, yeah. Uh, maybe maybe they'll put Drew in the World Cup to get that title defense. I honestly believe it should be what's his face, Braun. I think Braun is going to be in the World Cup, and then it'll be Braun versus Gunther for the Intercontinental, and he'll have that because that would be pretty nice for Braun to have for a match against Gunther. Oh, jeez, Christ, man, I'm just yawning all the way. So that's my Crondrol reaction from the results, plus what I think is going to happen during War Games. Probably hear another one as time gets closer to it. Uh, Next up, Minnesota Vikings. Um, Man, we as a Vikings fan, and I really, really don't like the whole national news, sports, just not really covering Minnesota. Maybe they are, but every time I turn on TV, it's either Rodgers not is doing crappy, Brady's team is doing crappy. Who else? You know, everybody else, but not talking about Minnesota. It's either the Bills, the Chiefs, Ravens. You know, but I mean, just yesterday, I haven't watched today's episode of Undisputed, but yesterday they talked about Kirk Cousins only because of the media of after every win on the plane home or whatever, he's wearing somebody's team chain, and they're just all hyping him up because of that. And then they eventually got around to it and talking about it. So, we're 7-1. We have the second best, you know, record in the league, right behind the Eagles. So, and yet on the NFL's power ranking, we're ranked 7. Last week we're 7. After the Cardinals game, we ranked 7th, and then this week after beating the Commanders, we held our position at number 7, which is mind-boggling to me. Uh, you know what? Let me see if I can pull up that NFL power rankings. Uh, see. Yeah, week 10. Give me a minute. I was coming up. Because some of the stuff kind of makes sense. Being that list, who's ahead of us. Gonna take a minute. So, so this is week 10 from last week, the past Sunday. So at number 1 is the Eagles. Not surprising, they're 8-0. Last week they were number 2, but whatever. Um, Number 2 is the Bills. I get it. Josh Allen is the shit. I mean, top to bottom, the Bills are a pretty solid team. I get that. But they're 6-2. They're in the AFC North. It's not exactly as it once was. I mean, the Bills are just year by year they're just becoming that team. It makes sense. But because of that loss against the Jets, they fell down to number 2 from number 1. Number 3 is the Chiefs. They're 6-2. Um, they're in the AFC West, which is right now a pretty I shouldn't say pretty crappy division, but preseason it's not living up to the hype as this is going to be the division that might take three, you know, 3 spots in the playoffs. I mean, I get it. You have Mahomes who does so many, just able to keep the play alive and do so many things by just throwing the ball. You know, I kind of get it, but still, they're 6-2 and they're number 3. Now, number 4 is the Dallas Cowboys. Again, they're 6-2, part of the NFC least, or up until this year it was, but now, the NFC East is, blowing up all of a sudden. But it's mostly their defense that's keeping them up there. I don't really pay attention to them unless who's ever talking about them at the time. Depending on the topic, I'd still fast forward it or just turn it off. I mean, they're 6-2. I mean, right? It's the Cowboys. Number 5, it's the Ravens. They're 6-3. Sure, Lamar is great. Little his accuracies, it's a little but they're number 5. Next up is the 49ers. They're 4-4, and they're ahead of us. Yeah, I mean, just because I don't know why they're ahead of us. It must be again their defense is probably carrying the team. So I've been told. Not a lot of people put their trust in Jimmy G, but he has playoff caliber playing. Now they have Christian McCaffrey, Debo's still there, and everything like that. But still, they're 4-4. Last week they were number 5, and they're still ahead of us by 1 rank. 2 if it was last week, and then once again and here we are at number 7. With again last week it was number 7. Special, I mean we look completely different with the acquisition of T.J. Hawkinson. Yeah. So we're coming up. But still, I would like to see more recognition, in the media for the Minnesota. And how we get it? Well, because right now we're going up to Buffalo to play the Bills. Now we don't know if Josh Allen's going to play. Their head coach said he's day by day. I saw a little snippet of it. Said, "Please don't ask me about it." All you need to know is we're taking it day by day to see what happens. Well, their number two is Case Keenum, and for those who are, you know, watch the Vikings, you know what Case Keenum and Stephon Diggs can do. I'll leave it at that. But still, if Minnesota goes up to Buffalo and beat them without Josh Allen at the helm, what does that say about us? I mean, do we get credit for beating the Bills, or do we get credit for beating the Bills without Allen at the helm? You know, what does that do for our ranking? Do we go up one? Do we go up two? My guess, we beat the Bills without Allen. We'll probably just go up one rank because Josh Allen wasn't there, so they weren't at their full strength. You know, I mean, yes, most of our wins were kind of stumbling, quote unquote, into victory. Um, but still, we've gone, you know, what we see in Cousins, we haven't seen in past years. And I think he has more fourth quarter comebacks so far in his career in this year. And then the following week, Cowboys come to us, and you know, last 2 years, when Cowboys came into town, we got beat by Cooper Rush and then Andy Dalton. Although the Andy Dalton year was kind of questionable because I think that was the year where you know we saw him push off, and everybody was looking for a offensive pass interference call, but it wasn't called. I think that was that year. I don't remember. Um, Point is, if they come up, um, if they come up here and we beat them, you know, are we now solidified as okay, Minnesota is here. I think this might be a team to look out for. I mean, as of right now, nobody's thinking we're much of a threat. Because I remember weeks ago on Undisputed, Shannon had, I think it was preseason, or maybe it was week 1 or 2. Point is, Shannon had us versus the Rams in the conference championship, but we lost. And then now, yesterday, he doesn't remember who he picked, and then he changed it. He had, who was it? I think it was Dallas, and it wasn't the Eagles because some odd reason he said the Eagles would lose and everything like that. Uh, and then yeah, I don't remember. It's downstairs. I kind of wrote it down. I'll know when I look downstairs. But and then Skip, he has the Bucks, winning the conference, and but the Bengals beating them. Now, because eventually, if the season ended now, you know, because right now we'll have Eagles is ranked one. Um, oh, the playoff picture is up. So let me pull the playoff picture up. Loading, loading, loading. So, mm, I mean, yeah, Eagles are number one. We're number two, and that means we would face the seventh, which would be the 49ers. So, uh, can we beat them? I don't know. But the going back to the Buccaneers, going to the playoffs, that would mean the Buccaneers would have to face the Cowboys, and then they would face. Should they win, they would either face the Seahawks or the Giants. I think they don't really have it in brackets, so I can't really tell. And then should and then they will go off to the Eagles. So they will only get one home game, and they would have to go win two road games just to get to the conference championship or Super Bowl, I should say. And Skip thinks they can win on the road against the Eagles or uh, who'd I say? The Cowboys or the Seahawks if they have to go on a road. Or yeah, Cowboys or Seahawks, and then the Eagles. And I honestly don't believe the Bucks can overcome any of those teams, let alone the Eagles. But I guess stats say Tom Brady kicks it into high gear around Thanksgiving and just go to the house and then become playoff Tom. And you know how that works with him. So I don't know. Like I said, should we go 9-1 in the next 2 weeks? Will people see us? Oh man, the Vikings. Maybe we were wrong about them and everything like that. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Uh, well, so in like my last segment of ranting, if you have been keeping up with my passport bro type event path th- towards relationship goals, hashtag fuck hashtags, but you guys know what I mean. So if you guys have been following along, I have been emailing this girl from the Philippines through this agency. Now it's got a bit of a hiccup. I shouldn't say a hiccup. It's quite the bump, I should say. Quite the bump. So last week, I get an email from her saying, you know, um, her grandmother, something happened to her grandmother, and she had to go to see her, obviously. And when she got there, turns out her grandmother had a stroke. So now, I it's hard to say it's canceled because prior to that, she was waiting on, her an okay from her work to take off the days that I was gonna plan on being there. I'm just waiting, 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 and all of a sudden, boom, grandmother had a stroke, and wow, yeah, grandmother had a stroke, and now it's been put on off indefinitely um, until further notice. But I mean, right now, I plan on going towards leaving here June 22nd. Now that's about 2 months away, or yeah, about 2 full months away, as of the 10th. of this recording. And I emailed her saying, well, you got to do what you got to do. I'm not going to straight up and say, well, you got a choice, between me and your grandma, whatever. I didn't say that. And like, you do what you got to do. I mean, we're not really an item, but you know my intentions. You you knew my intentions. I know your intentions, uh, and and everything like that. And so I also said, I'm like, well, I honestly don't think your job's gonna allow you to just turn around and then go on emergency leave for your grandmother, which I don't know. I don't know if she just straight up quit her job and then went to Melania, uh, capital where grandparents live, and just be there for I don't know how many days, or is she still working and she just took emergency family leave and to take care of her for who knows. I don't know how that works. I mean, even here, I mean, okay, you get probably so many emergency days okay, before I got to take vacation PTO leave until we get this situated. And then if she did take emergency leave and she didn't quit, uh, it's like you kind of still have a place back in Cebu. Because I mean, and she went, like I said, she went. Her grandparents live in Millennia. God damn it, I gotta look. I gotta look that name up. The capital. She basically goes to the capital. That's where her grandparents live. You know, she doesn't know when she go back to Cebu. But even still, and then I don't know what kind of workplace. And then all of a sudden you come back, and then, oh hey, by the way, you might still approve to get to take those days off. You know, so I can meet possibly my future husband. I mean, I don't know if she said that, but I kind of joked about it, and I maybe should say that to whomever. But I'm like, I don't know. Again, I don't know what type of, especially here in the states where you take emergency leave. I know here it's kind of lenient. Like, oh man, grandparents or your parent just had a stroke. I'm like, oh yeah, take. I know they say take all the time you need, but at the same time, hurry back. You know, we got a company to run. you know, I think emergency leave has maybe 4 days, five, uh, something like that. But again, I don't know how it works over there, depending on the job. So as of right now, I say, look, um, do what you got to do, uh, but know this. I planned on emailing you up until the day, I go over there and we meet and we can exchange, contact information. If I haven't explained before, you can't exchange contact information through this agency because of uh, because of a government act. It's stupid. It's very stupid because you exchange contact information through other sources, but still. And I said, look, and I don't want to keep emailing you because it costs me money to send and receive for an unknown date. You know, it's past the day I was gonna leave to go up there. She said, you know, say, look, and I guess she came back and said, "Yeah, it, you know, sure, I'll maybe we should just stop emailing until I know for sure date whatever, you know, it's you know around what time you can come over." So that's where I'm at right now. Uh, yeah, so it's quite the bump. What's happening? Uh, I mean, it's kind of too late to do the group tour. I mean, I don't really. I mean, I can do it, but that's a lot. That's a lot in short notice. But the next one group tour will be in May. So if I don't hear from her prior to May, I think I'm just gonna go on the group tour and do that, and you know, and then see what happens there, and then I'll just go from there. So I'm just gonna hold out on my vape. So far, I haven't gone in and say, hey, I'm not going on these days to my GM. So can you just straight up cancel? I think I'm just gonna hold on for right now. I'm still going on the 22nd of January, and I probably won't cancel it until I see the prices go up on flight. Uh, as of right now, it's still in the same area. We'll find out in a month, or beginning of December, and then if it's still the same, I'll keep it there. If it's still the same in January, I'll keep it there up until you know a week prior. I shouldn't say a week prior. Uh, Maybe 2 weeks. Where's my calendar? Let me pull up my calendar real quick. Um. So yeah, if I don't hear something, because I'll look, like I said, I'll look December 1st. You know, price is still the same around December 1st. I'm like, okay, give her some more time. I'll keep looking. If prices didn't change around January 1st, I'll, and I haven't heard, I'll keep my date still there. But if I don't hear something, maybe, let's see, I should say January 14th. When do I, maybe the 10th or 17th. No, let's say the 10th, because that kind of gives me, because I'll go in, yeah. I'll probably say the 10th. If I haven't heard anything from her by the 10th, or the price has gone up, then from what I've been seeing, I'll just tell my GM, like, hey, can you cancel it? I'm like, I'm not going. I'm not going, but do keep in mind, at some point I'm gonna take those amount of days off at some point. So that's where I'm at. Um, I don't think I'm gonna email, some other girl now because of the whole how much it costs. I think I spent too much as it is these past 2 months. Um, I mean, at first I thought it was gonna be worth it, but now, you know, cool, whatever. Um, I also thought about, like, well, if I don't hear from you, I might as well just change my trip plans. Maybe I'll just go to instead of the Philippines, I'll go to Thailand, or maybe I'll still go to the Philippines, but I'll go to Angel City and just live it up in the red light district. Either in the Philippines or Thailand, whatever. Uh, but that'll be something. But I think I'll just save my money and just go try to do the group trip in May instead of trying to do it in, the original plan in January. But but yeah, that's what's going on. Um, Everything like that. Right. So once again, I'd like to thank y'all for once again listening to the weekly rant that I usually do on Thursday. Keep it on a weekly basis of this. A little plan, what's happening as far as live shows and regular podcasts. Matt's thing, apparently his schedule changed. That's why we didn't really record last Sunday. Because I guess he answered his phone when work called, and now he worked last Sunday, and now he's working this Sunday. Even though it wouldn't matter because I'll be at Twin Cities Con, uh, you know, going around there getting shit signed. Kind of wish I didn't work Saturdays. I mean, luckily the people that I want people to sign, get signatures from, are there Sunday. And then the following Sunday, I said I wanted to go to the Cowboys game. um, but damn, those tickets are expensive. Whew, man, fucking Cowboys, man. They gotta be that expensive. But that's the breaks when you're 7-1 and you're playing the Cowboys. Everything's more expensive when the Cowboys come into town. Fuck them. But yeah, that's the NFL. That's life. That sucks. But yeah, like I said again, thanks for listening. Hopefully, we'll get something going in the future. But until next week, to see what's happening else. Yeah, take care.